What is going on? Gunners Alive coming at you with another Clash Royale video. Been a while since I uploaded any Clash gameplay here to the channel, and the reason is I honestly haven't been playing the game that much. I sort of took a break from the game for a while, except for a few days ago when I decided to go ahead, actually update my game, load back up into it, and I saw that there was a tournament going on with a new card. Now the new card is called the Battle Ram, and it will be released in 3, 4, or 5 days after this video is uploaded. So you're going to be seeing the card in play here in this video. Now you can see my opponent actually dropped it on the right side of the map. I'll explain what it does in just 1 second, but in this video I'm going to be showing you 3 battles that I competed in. The first 2 battles I pulled comebacks against my opponent and got the win, and then in the third battle I just completely destroyed my opponent. You can see I'm already losing this first battle by 1 tower, and I've done a little bit of damage to my opponent's left tower, but honestly I haven't done that much. So you're going to see the comeback right here, right now in this video. I'm going to go ahead and push the right lane with my Hog Rider and my minions. Now this was the very first time I actually have used the Battle Ram card in my deck. That's one of the reasons I hadn't dropped it down yet, because I wasn't exactly sure how the card played or what all it did. I literally just turned on the game, and then I saw there was a tournament, loaded up into the tournament. So you see me drop the Battle Ram on the left side of the battlefield. Turns out it goes straight for the opponent's towers whenever the 2 barbarians are holding that wooden log on top of their head. I thought at first it may do some damage to the princess, but you saw the Battle Ram go straight for that tower, and once it rammed the tower, it did quite a bit of damage. Now once it rams the tower 1 time, then the 2 barbarians that have been carrying the log, they will attack either troops or the tower, basically whatever units are closer. Moving on now, I did end up taking out my opponent's left tower, and we're pretty much tied at this point in the battle. Yes, my king tower has taken some damage, but I'm going to be able to protect it as the battle progresses. My opponent drops down the giant and then the Battle Ram, same exact push they did on the right side of the map earlier on in the battle. Now they're doing it on the left side, and it's going to work for them. They're going to take out my left tower, and they're going to proceed to my king tower with the Hog Rider and giant. Luckily though, I do take out both of those cards before they're able to do any more damage to my king tower, and at this point I have a solid push going down the left lane. You see my Hog Rider, you see my, I believe, Valkyrie. I'm trying to see what the troops are because there's so many on the battlefield, but I have some, oh, it's a lumberjack. I had the lumberjack in my deck. That's what it was. I had the lumberjack, I had 2 wizards and some spear goblins, and then you're going to see my opponent's king tower falls pretty quickly there once I get all those troops, because the lumberjack does drop the rage spell once they are taken out. Anyways, I pulled a comeback on the first battle. Hope you enjoyed it. Moving on to the second battle now. Now that I know how the Battle Ram card works, I will use it here in this battle some. My opponent, they've already dropped their Battle Ram down onto the field, and I decided to go ahead and drop my 3 minions because they can take out that Ice Golem along with the barbarians. At least that was the plan, right? But then my opponent, they go ahead, they drop down the minion horde along with an Ice Wizard, and then I'm actually able to drop my wizard down to prevent my tower from being taken out. It did take quite a bit of damage, but now I'm going to proceed to push my opponent's right tower with the Hog Rider and the wizard. Unfortunately, the wizard was not able to take out those barbarians. It did quite a bit of damage, but they're going to fall back to protect their tower while my Hog Rider was doing damage. Another Battle Ram coming in to push towards my tower. Now my Valkyrie is going to do a bunch of damage to those 4 barbarians that did get dropped, and then she's going to start doing some damage to the Ice Golem. I decided not to drop down my minions yet, and I decided to use the goblins instead, because I wanted to save my minions for later on in case my opponent dropped down their minions. Then I could drop the free spirit and then drop the wizard and hopefully take out their minions and get a strong push. So you see my opponent, they actually dropped their minions down pretty far in the back of their base. That let me know they were coming. I dropped my wizard, then my wizard was able to take out the minions. My Ice Spirit freezes some stuff, and now I've gotten my opponent's right tower down to 93 hit points. I don't need to necessarily take it out yet, because once I take it out, it'll activate the opponent's king tower. So at this point, I'm just going to push the left lane with the lumberjack and the Hog Rider. That way, these 2 cards only get attacked by the tower and whatever cards my opponent dropped. So they go ahead and drop down the barbarians along with the witch. I had the lumberjack, Hog Rider, and minions do a little bit of damage to that tower, but honestly not a whole lot. Like, it wasn't anything crazy, alright? My opponent, they have a solid push now, and I need to go ahead and stop it. That's the reason I dropped down the Valkyrie. She's going to spin around with that tomahawk thing that she has, or the axe, whatever you want to call it, and she's going to do a lot of damage to my opponent's troops as they push towards her and the tower. The wizard is doing work here. I decided to go ahead and drop down my battle ram, and it's going to push towards my opponent's tower and then get taken out along the way. So at this point, I know my opponent, they're probably going to drop down the minion horde at some time. My wizard is already down on the battlefield, and I have another one cycled through. That way, if my opponent does drop down their minions, I will be able to take them out very, very quickly. I need to go ahead and take out my opponent's tower because you can see there's only 20 seconds left on the clock. I have a hog rider, I have minions, I have a wizard pushing the left tower, and I sneak in some goblins on the right tower to take it out. Remember, it was only at 93 hit points, and just like that, your boy is pulling another comeback. I have the lead 2 towers to 1. 5 seconds left, 4 seconds left, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second left, and bang, just like that, your boy pulls a second comeback here in this video. So I still hadn't perfected using the battle ram card or anything like that, but you know, I had dropped it down a few times just to see how it did play throughout the match. Here in this third battle though, I completely dominated my opponent. You'll see everything that happens. They go ahead and they drop down a wizard in the back of their base, and all I'm going to have to do to counter this wizard is drop down my Valkyrie, because she will go and spin around and take out the wizard, right? Well, it turns out my opponent, they had a trick up their sleeve. They had a golem that they dropped in front of the wizard. So I go ahead, drop down my minions, and they drop down the princess. Fortunately, my minions are able to take out the princess and the wizard, and now my Valkyrie and 1 minion are doing work against that golem. I go ahead and drop down my wizard because at this point, I'm just mounting a large scale attack down that right lane. I know that if I drop the lumberjack and it gets taken out, then eventually there will be a rage spell dropped. I go ahead and put down my hog rider as well. I'm not sure what exactly that card is called that my opponent just dropped. It is slipping my mind at the moment, but as you can see, the lumberjack put the rage spell down on the battlefield, and I am able to take out my opponent's right tower just like that. Your boy is up with 1 minute 50 seconds left in the battle. Now my opponent starts spawning some skeletons at my base. I did not know they had this card, but it's good that I had my Valkyrie in my deck, because I'm going to drop her down. She's going to start taking out as many of the skeletons as she can, and then my minions are going to be able to take out the musketeer, but they aren't going to be able to take out the wizard. I honestly thought right here my opponent was going to drop down a golem, but if you can see at the top, they don't have nearly enough elixir to drop down that card. So luckily for me, the card didn't get dropped. Unluckily for me though, I do lose my right tower because that battle ram, it comes in hot and it just rams my tower. I'm not exactly sure how much damage that card does. We'll have to check it out once it does get released. I mean, I could have held my finger down on the card and it would have popped up at the bottom of the screen, but I just didn't think about doing that during the battle. Moving on now, I have my hog rider going to attack my opponent's king tower, and I do have the lumberjack. You know what that means. Once the lumberjack gets taken out, there will be a rage spell. Probably the best part about the lumberjack is once it gets taken out, there is a rage spell. But I have goblins, I have minions, my hog rider already got taken out, and at this point all I'm going to have to do is drop down a few more cards and I will achieve victory here in this battle. I'm not even worried about those skeletons spawning in my base. I'll go ahead and drop a battle ram of my own, going to take out my opponent's king tower, and just like that, your boy gets 3 wins here in this video. So if you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. New videos every single day here on my channel. I'm Gunners Live. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the long live stream later tonight for another video.
Don't tell me that this isn't real. Don't tell me this ain't how I feel. This is all I have, all I have. All I ever wanted was somebody to get this. All I ever wanted was somebody to play this. Yeah, take my song, put it on they play, and get goosebumps every time they play it. Wait this.